Happy New Year. Put down the champagne and pick up the beer. And yes, this is beer.
What's your favorite thing about bars? I mean, besides the beer. We asked our viewers, and we're going to share some of your best ideas.
From the Moss Mill Brewing Company in Huntington Valley, Bucks County with Joe Sixpack, I'm Glen Macnow. This is What's Brewing.
What's Brewing is brought to you in part by Montgo Makers, powered by the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board. Download the app. By Visit Bucks County. Follow the Bucks County Ale Trail. Go to visitbuckscounty.com/ale trail to get your passport. And by the Conshohocken Brewing Company, now with 5 locations.
Hi, it's Glen Macnow. You've seen some of our Conshohocken Brewing Company spots on this show, so I'd like to invite you to come and check them out. You can find us in Conshohocken, Bridgeport, Phoenixville, King of Prussia, and here in Havertown, where I'm enjoying an award-winning Puddler's Row right now. It's one of our year-round core beers, along with Type A IPA and user-friendly blonde ale. We've also got exciting seasonal beers, like Blood Money IPA, Philly Vice, and our Unfiltered IPA series. And come hungry. From burgers and wings to salads and small bites, there's something for everyone. Don't leave without trying the amazing cheese curds. All of our spots are built for year-round fun, so you can enjoy a cold one in every season. And good news, you can find Conshohocken beer at grocery stores, distributors, and restaurants throughout PA, South Jersey, and Delaware. So get yourself to Conshohocken Brewing Company. I'll meet you at the bar. Hey, welcome to What's Brewing. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, everybody. We hope you had a great holiday. He's Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow. We are at the Moss Mill Brewing Company in Huntington Valley, Bucks County. Fun place. We've been here. Great beer selection.
Really, they've got a lot of stuff going. We're on the second floor here. This is a new bar they just opened upstairs, so great spot to come out and hang out.
So as we do this show, you've already celebrated the first holiday, but New Year's Eve right around the corner. So Joe Sixpack and I thought today, let's look at some good New Year's Eve beers. And I'm going to start you off with this, because I think what could be more perfect? This is Stone Brewing Company. We like their stuff.
Yep.
And the name of this unfiltered IPA is Enjoy by 010120.
Good idea. Got to drink it on New Year's Eve.
So we got to drink it on New Year's Eve. So here's the story with this beer. I read a little bit about it. It's an unfiltered IPA. You know, that's my jam a little bit. A little hefty, 9.4%. They basically said they made it on November 22nd, and they said it's got a shelf life of 43 days, and that's it. So you got to drink it now. There you go. Here's to you.
Cheers. And by the way, we can't go on the show without making some mention of your wonderful headwear today.
What headwear?
Exactly. What, New Year's Eve, I'm usually...
My New Year's Eve Phillies cap. You mean you don't have one?
I do. It's a lampshade, but that's...
Okay. So let's talk about the concept of beer on New Year's Eve. It is traditionally, you know, that champagne holiday, but we don't roll that way.
No, not at all. And there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to pick a beer. And this is a good one, by the way.
It's a nice IPA.
If you're a hop head, I would go for it. That limited shelf life is because of the hop aroma and flavors that don't really have a long shelf life. So they're urging you to drink it right away. It's been part of a series of beers.
12 different kinds of hops in this beer. I'm not going to read all of them to you, but they're making a big deal because it's unfiltered. Stone hasn't traditionally done unfiltered stuff, so this is a new thing for them. They say you better enjoy it by then, so we'll drink fast.
Really?
All right, what'd you bring?
Well, there's a couple different varieties of beer that are appropriate for the holiday, and I'm going to go right for one here that is so special. This is Malheur Dark Brut.
I brought a can.
Yeah, well, I like the idea, to me, of having beer in a bottle for New Year's Eve. And this one, as you can see, is corked.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about this beer, Glenn, is that it is made just like champagne, which is to say it's made with champagne yeast, and it is conditioned like champagne. They disgorge the cork as they're making it. It goes through the whole thing, plus it's extremely very tasty and strong beer, one that would be perfect for New Year's Eve. Also, really, really hard to find.
Are you opening that puppy, or we're just going to discuss it?
No.
I don't get that one. He's having that one at his own party.
Exactly.
All right, so you brought something we can open.
Yeah, this is the Lindemann's Pesh. It's a lambic. It's a sweet beer. Not necessarily my favorite of all the Lindemann beers, but it has a great bit of sentimental value to me. It's the first beer that I ever drank with my Mrs. Sixpack.
Wow, that's nice.
And so we often will have a beer like this.
Not Ortlieb's, huh?
No. And this is a peach-flavored lambic beer. It's somewhat sweet, but to me it sort of has a feel. You know what? I was going to pour it into a champagne glass, but
What the hell?
looks
Would
nice
you
and
recommend
bubbly.
a particular style for New Year's Eve? I mean, is lambic more New Year's Eve-ish than an IPA?
I think it is a little bit. I mean, it's a special beer.
Yeah.
It's sweet,
Yeah,
but
it's
but
sweet.
it's fun. It's the kind of thing that you could see toasting with, and I think something that looks sparkly seems to be appropriate for New Year's
A
Eve.
couple more I brought you. Now, we're going to maybe talk more a little about this style later, but this is a brewed IPA. This is a new Victory beer called Fizzy Business, which is their brewed IPA. And again, brut is kind of a clear champagne-ish kind of thing. We thought this was going to be all the rage earlier in the year, this style.
Right.
No, that's caught on.
It has a little bit, but I think it's maybe peaked. We'll talk to the brewery here a little bit about it later on. But that beer actually is made with champagne yeast, so
Right.
it is the same idea.
That's appropriate. Now, this one is more of a Christmas beer, but I just really love the can and love the idea. This is Miracle on 10th Street by Stickman Brewery, a local brewery we haven't talked much about, and it is made, here, let me read, a big brown beer, spiced to taste like a holiday dessert, all the flavor, and holiday cheer, none of the risk of diabetes. I'm not sure. It's a beer de Noël style brewed with raisins and cinnamon.
That's a great brewery out there in Royersford. They've been making all kinds of fantastic beers and some pretty wacky labels too.
And finally, what I brought you is this, the Game of Thrones My Watch Has Ended beer, which will be a big favorite of a lot of our people. Now, this is brewed with fenugreek, which is a Middle Eastern herb. Are you familiar with fenugreek?
Not one bit.
All right, it's a Middle Eastern herb that has the benefits of lowering blood sugar levels, boosting testosterone. Hello. I'm sorry, lost my place. Increasing milk production in breastfeeding mothers, may reduce lower inflammation and help with appetite control. This is a cure-all, man.
That's a nice looking
This
bottle.
is a New Year's resolution.
Well, Glenn, this is a real bottle for New Year's.
Holy cow, what is that?
This is Anchor's Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Came out as a special big bottle this year. Fantastic beer. You got to share this with your friends.
You got to have a lot of friends. I think you win. All right, you one-up me there, Joe Sixpack. Coming up, we asked in a previous episode, what bugs you about bars? We got a lot of answers, so we decided to follow, what do you love about a bar? We got great answers. That's coming up next from Moss Mill Brewing Company, Huntington Valley, Bucks County, with Joe Sixpack, Glen Macnow. It's What's Brewing.
This holiday season, where will you find yourself? Celebrating tradition or crafting your own? From awakening awe to igniting the night. Spend the holidays in Bucks County, Pennsylvania.
Welcome back to What's Brewing from the Moss Mill Brewing Company, Huntington Valley, Bucks County. Joe Sixpack, you may have overindulged on New Year's Eve.
I think possibly, and I would suggest for the morning after, the hair of the dog that bit you, this seems appropriate from Wawa and 2SP, their new Coffee Cake Reserve Stout.
Nice. Coffee Cake Reserve Stout. I'll drink some of that. Oh, that's nice. That's like a brunch kind of beer.
Really?
I like that. I will be drinking that on January 1st. All right. We had an interesting thing where we asked all of our viewers, and by the way, you can follow us on social media. He is at beer_radar on Twitter. I'm at Real Glen Macnow on Twitter. The show at What's Brewing PA on all forms of social media. But we asked you, what do you like about a bar? We got more than 150 answers.
Wow.
I want to run some by you and get your take on this,
Sure.
okay? And let's start with the ones that relate to selection, because we got a lot of people who said something like this. This is the guy who goes by the Beer Whisperer, and he said, I want good beer selection with either paper or digital lists with descriptions and a bartender who will offer me samples.
The free beer, okay, that sounds good.
Well, that comes up again later.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know, I think a list of beers is almost 100% necessary in a bar. Here at Moss Mill, I see they have big screens with descriptions of each beer.
Descriptions,
Yes.
which is nice. That's a good thing. Along those lines, a guy named Stan Broski wrote us, and he said, it's got to have a good Pilsner or lager. Too many bars just have IPAs. And I got a decent amount of like
I'm
that.
going to switch over here because they do have a lager, and I agree 100%, man. How many times you go to a bar that has 12 taps and 10 of them are IPAs?
Yeah.
Give me a little bit of variety.
Okay, very good. Now, many people talked about the bartender, the service, the friendliness. I'll give you just a few. Tom Dakota said, it all comes down to hospitality. I want a polite, personable, efficient bartender who makes you feel appreciated for being there. A smile and a warm welcome and a cold beer go a hell of a long way.
I agree. A smile and a cold beer, that makes it for a comfortable evening.
Yeah, that's a nice night. Harry Spivak said, I want a long-time, he was a long-time bartender manager of a bar, and he said it's awareness. Even if the bartender's 3 deep, the customers everywhere, just kind of give me that nod, let me know that you see me.
Right, yeah, it is, you know, because otherwise sometimes you feel like you got to go over here, which I think is rude, but sometimes if a bartender doesn't see, you have no other choice.
And Matt Weindel said, buybacks. It's nice when the bartender buys you one after spending a ton of money. Does that happen a lot?
I think it happens less and less. It's completely legal, by the way. Some bartenders have told me it's against the law to give out free beer. That's not true. But, you know, a token of appreciation of you being there. Sure.
All right, let's talk about some which are atmosphere. And I know this is big with you.
Right.
All right, so Philly says, bars where you can hear your friends over the background noise, not overly crowded, good mix of men and women, good drink specials. Okay. Bartenders that ask you about the next round before your glass is empty and make a connection.
Yeah, that's good service as well. I mean, I think that the idea that, you know, you don't have an empty glass sitting in front of you, there's nothing more frustrating about than that.
Amy said, give me purse hooks under the bar seats and backs at the bar. I know you're big on this kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of comfort. I do like a nice back on a bar, and those little purse hooks, it's like the smallest thing. I'm going to throw one other thing out there, and you're seeing more often, is a place to recharge your phone. So
yeah, although I have mixed feelings about that because then everybody's sitting at the bar going like this the whole time.
You have the responsibility to put your phone down for crying out loud.
Yeah.
But place to recharge is nice.
And also your foot's got to reach the bar too. They got to actually have a bar down there railing down at the bottom of the bar. Exactly. All right, real quickly, this one I like. This is John Burgo said, no dead TVs. A good bartender knows the games, the channels, the times of relevant sporting events. Going to a bar where Inside Edition and Wheel of Fortune linger on the main screens is ridiculous.
Worse than that, how about going into a bar where there's an infomercial on for like lawnmowers? Who cares?
Keep awareness. Know what your crowd wants.
That's nothing on, turn it off.
Chris Ostrowski said, I like a bar with 1 or 2 signature finger food type items, wings, short ribs, something where and he said, and cheese curds. We have at Conchi. But I think that's right. You want to know that there's one thing they're going to do well.
I agree. Although I will say that generally speaking for bars, that one thing I enjoy about them is a little bit more esoteric. It's not one thing in specific, and that is the whole nature of the bar as a melting pot. The ability to sort of sit next to somebody and open up a nice evening of conversation with them, find new ideas, meet new people.
Well, which I'll close with Mike Hendrickson, who said, I want Cliffy and Norm as regulars along with bartenders like Woody, Coach, and Sam. The neighborhood feel where
everybody knows your name.
Right, that is perfect. By the way, Mike Wyndham says having one with you guys. Mike, anytime, just show up. All right, so close. You got one more thing that you need?
Well, You know, I think clean glasses are nice.
All right, and I'll add one more thing for me, which is I want a bar with a good jukebox.
Perfect. What's your favorite bar jukebox song?
Probably something by the Stones. I'm old school. Street Fighting Man always works for me.
Gimme Shelter.
Give me well, there you go. Okay, we're on the same page. Hey, coming up, we're going to give you a little history lesson because we like to do that. You ever hear the great London beer flood of, what was it, 1814? You're going to get educated next, or at least we're going to try. We are at the Moss Mill Brewing Company in Huntington Valley, Bucks County. Joe Sixpack, Glen Macnow. What's brewing?
I'm Joe Sixpack. I love beer and I love travel. I've visited great breweries around the world, and I'm inviting you to join me on my next expedition to France. Yes, they make beer in France. We'll travel the Seine on a luxury river cruise from Paris to Normandy. We'll visit breweries, explore the sights, drink great beer, and maybe some wine. Join me in October 2020. Just visit my website at phillybeerworld.com. Let's discover a world of beer together.
Welcome back to What's Brewing with Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow. Moss Mill Brewing Company. We've kind of rifled through their selection. They got a lot going on here.
I know, really nice variety. I love all the colors too.
Yeah, that's to me, that's a flight.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get a flight of all the same thing. You get the variety, and that's nice. So, you and I just kind of stumbled upon this story. I know you know this history, but I found it fascinating. The Great London Beer Flood of 1814.
Huge event in London. People can't believe that it actually happened. I think there was, they compare it to, there was also a molasses flood up in Boston one time.
Yeah, I think we might have talked about that one time back in the day, but this is, let me give you the background. Monday, October 17th, 1814, people in London going about their business. There's a woman and her daughter making tea. There was an Irish, this is sad, there's an Irish wake for a 2-year-old who died, 4 mourners there. At the Tavistock Arm Pub, people are enjoying a little late afternoon ale.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, this neighborhood, which was known as St. Giles Rookery, densely populated, here's the story. This is, by the way, written by a guy named Ben Jonson. Is that Ben Jonson? London slum of cheap housing and tenements inhabited by the poor, the destitute, prostitutes, and criminals. We'd fit in. All of a sudden, they're swallowed up in a beer tornado.
A beer tsunami.
Beer tsunami, that's actually better. The Horseshoe Brewery had 22-foot-high wooden fermentation tank held together by giant iron rings that held 3,500 barrels of brown porter. And Joe Sixpack, what happens?
One of the rings slips, and in a few hours, the vat explodes and releases all that beer. But not only that, knocks over other vats, other valves start exploding, and you have this wall of beer that covers through the entire, a 15-foot wave of beer.
More than 320,000 gallons of beer were released, running down the street, swamping people in a tide of alcohol, a 15-foot, I'm laughing, people died, wave of beer and debris inundated those 2 houses where I said the people who were at the wake, they all passed away. The woman and the daughter passed away.
So 8 people died. You have to remember, this is a time in big cities when you had factories and other industrial facilities right in neighborhoods where people lived. And the other thing that's important about this is that they were making porter, which was made to be stored in these big vats for a long time. So that's why there was so much beer there to go flood the neighborhood.
I'll close with this. All this free beer led to hundreds of people scooping up the liquid in whatever containers they could.
That's a myth, actually.
Is it really?
It is a myth, yeah, because they at least there's no real good counting of that. Actually, this was a disaster, and people showed up to help save people that were buried.
All right, well, that's better than them grabbing their hat and trying to drink it. Okay. One other goofy thing we want to talk about, and this is your friend Lou Bryson wrote a great story for the Daily Beast on the pleasure of the beer shower.
Yeah.
Or the shower beer. Excuse me.
That's what we just talked about.
That's a different thing, the shower beer.
Yeah, the shower beer, drinking a beer. All right, so let me just ask you something about this, Glenn. First of all, is this like a gender thing? Is this a guy thing that happens, or do you think women?
Probably. Yeah, I don't know, but I've done it.
I
Many
know.
a time.
You said you've done it.
Jill, one of our camera people, one of our producers, says she's done it.
All right. If that's true, we'll have to ask her later on. I'd like to know that because I think it's sort of a male thing, but the idea of relaxing in a shower with a beer.
Love it.
I love it too. The greatest thing about this is part of this whole can revolution is that you can safely take the beer in there.
Yes,
now.
you definitely don't want to do it with a bottle of beer. Your friend Lou actually did some research on this and said there have been thousands and thousands of stories. In fact, there is a subreddit group called Shower Beer that's got 100,000 subscribers.
Oh, my word.
But he said be careful with it because there's certain things you don't want to see, like the big naked guy in a shower clutching a keg to his belly. But I will tell you that it's a hot day, right? You're outside working in the yard, whatever. You come home from work, you're tired, you want to do it. You turn on the shower, you grab a can, you just sit there, you let the water go on your head and drink a beer. What's better?
You're not worried about soap or shampoo getting into your beer?
Well, that's a good point. Got to be careful about that. That's a good point. And as you said, you got to use a can. And I would say, no, I'll ask you, what's the ideal shower beer?
Pilsner, easily a Pilsner. Light, refreshing. You can drink it straight out of the can if you like.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
How about you?
Yeah, I would say a fairly low, alcohol volume. What we would call a lawnmower beer before
Right,
works
exactly.
fine for me. You know what, a Yingling, it'd be perfectly great in the shower.
Yeah.
That would work for me. There is a brewery in Scotland called Brewdog, which recently opened the Brewdog Hotel in Columbus, Ohio, okay, where they opened their U.S. brewery. Not only does every guest room have a tap that features the guest choice of beers, you got to go to this place, but there is a well-mounted refrigerator in cans right next to the shower. A toss of soapy locks to you, Brewdog. And thanks to our friend Lou Bryson for coming up with this.
That's
All
cool
right.
information.
All right, coming up, we are going to talk to some of the people who run this place, the Rogers family, and find out what's going on at Meek Mill, Moss Mill. I knew I would do that, and I did. Moss Mill Brewing Company. Keep it. Joe Sixpack, Glen Macnow on What's Brewing. Hi, it's Glen Macnow. You've seen some of our Conshohocken Brewing Company spots on this show, so I'd like to invite you to come and check them out. You can find us in Conshohocken, Bridgeport, Phoenixville, King of Prussia, and here in Havertown, where I'm enjoying an award-winning Puddler's Row right now. It's one of our year-round core beers, along with Type A IPA and user-friendly Blonde Ale. We've also got exciting seasonal beers, like Blood Money IPA, Philly Vice, and our Unfiltered IPA series. And come hungry. From burgers and wings to salads and small bites, there's something for everyone. Don't leave without trying the amazing cheese curds. All of our spots are built for year-round fun, so you can enjoy a cold one in every season. And good news, you can find Conshohocken beer at grocery stores, distributors, and restaurants throughout PA, South Jersey, and Delaware. So get yourself to Conshohocken Brewing Company. I'll meet you at the bar. Welcome back to What's Brewing for the Moss Mill Brewing Company. Joe Sixpack, real quickly, brackets update.
Yes, we're moving right along with our beer brackets, and we in the dark category, Lancaster Milk Stout, really nice beer, but it fell to Iron Hill Pig Iron Porter.
All right.
A lot of fans of the Pig Iron out there. And in the sour/tart category, Yards Pink versus Victory Sour Monkey. Two powerhouses up against each other.
Who took it?
Victory Sour Monkey.
Wow, good for them. Yep. Nicely done. All right, we're delighted to be here with Nick Rogers, co-owner of Moss Mill. He's got his flux capacitor going on here. I guess that's probably not what it is. What do we got?
Boys and their toys. So we have a Hawk 3100 dissolved oxygen meter here.
I got one of those at home.
Oh yeah, everyone's got one, right? In the back pocket. So what we use it for in the beer industry is we use it to measure dissolved oxygens in the beer every step of the brewing process. Our biggest measurement though is in that final package before you get it to be sure you get the freshest beer you can get every time you purchase it from us.
What does dissolved oxygen mean to the beer drinker? Why is it important to measure that?
Dissolved oxygen adds to the aging of a beer. It stales it faster than it normally would. The less oxygen you have in a product in a finished package, the better off you are.
So you've got the growlers and you got the crowler.
Correct.
Is one better than the other?
That's for you to determine. These are the numbers that we determine how we tell you our freshness is in the package that we give you. So what we do is we'll punch each one and determine the number in the end. So I'll punch one in front of you guys,
Wow.
so you can see.
All right, so this is a pretty cool machine, but it also looks like an expensive piece of equipment as well.
Very much so. The average brewery probably doesn't have one, but it is by all means a vital piece of machinery when it comes to the production process.
All right. So that's a fresh.
All these were freshly poured.
Okay.
What we do is we'll shake them for a certain period of time to determine total package oxygen. So we want to measure the oxygen in the headspace as well as dissolved in the liquids.
So why are you going to all this effort?
We want to provide you not only with the freshest beer in the pint glass when you come and drink beer from us, but we also want you to have the freshest product when you take it from us.
All right. So if I get one of those growlers, take it home. If I don't open it, how long can I expect it to be fresh? And if I do open it, how quickly do I need to drink it?
You would have to drink it right away if you were to open it. There's no saving a crowler.
Like a day.
Same day.
Same day.
Same day.
Hours,
If you open
Glenn,
it,
hours.
it's only 2
One
pints.
session,
You can
gotcha.
power through 2 pints.
Okay, I can.
As far as keeping it sealed when you purchase it, we say 48 to 72 hours kept ice cold. That's based off of our numbers.
How about a crowler? Is that any different?
So the crowler is a little shorter, around 48 hours, guaranteed for the most part, only because there's so much more DO pickup in that package.
Really, I always thought that they would last a little bit longer.
Well, both cans and glass have their ups and downs. In this situation, the glass wins over cans. In this
One of the nice things about Moss Mill, you guys are in the Bucks County Ale Trail. People can come here, get the passport stamped. It's really a great thing going on throughout the entire county. Love that.
Correct. Yeah, we're part of the Bucks County Ale Trail, and we're proud to be part of it.
So what's this place like? I mean, you do have 2 bars here to check out. You have a lot of events here.
Yes, we hold big quarterly events. We have events going on almost every day in our brewery. We have 2 rooms. We just opened our upstairs expansion. It stands about 120 people, has a 59-foot bar, seats around 32. But yeah, we're very family friendly. Great place to watch sports games.
And you're also doing a lot with the local homebrew community as well.
Correct. We usually hold a quarterly homebrew competition, so you can come. All it costs you is two 12-ounce bottles of beer. We determine a winner. You come, you brew your batch of beer with us here, and it gets put on tap. You get to take some beer home with you in the end of the day.
Nick Rogers, you got a lot going on here, a lot of styles of beer out there. Anything that you are most proud of? People come here, they want to try your best. What should they give a look at?
Probably our Indecent Proposal Ale IPA. That's our home.
I did enjoy some of that earlier.
It's definitely indecent. Yeah, it's one of those things, 7.4%, drinks like a 4%er, well-rounded, malty, hoppy, well-rounded IPA.
You would know that I'm a big fan of the brown ale, and I encourage people to try that beer. It's a style you don't see a whole lot of these days.
And that's what we're trying to focus on here is the high-quality, well-balanced beer. You know, we'll do specialty one-off beers, seasonal one-off beers, but our core beers are consistent, well-balanced, and what you expect every time you drink it.
Nick Rogers, thank you so much for hosting us today at Moss Mill. Thank you for showing us the back room where everything happens. And we invite everybody to come here. It's a terrific place. We had a great time. You will too, from the Moss Mill Brewing Company. In fact, we like it so much we're coming back next week. We'll see you then on What's Brewing.
What's Brewing is brought to you in part by Macnow Makers, powered by the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board. Download the app. By Visit Bucks County. Follow the Bucks County Ale Trail. Go to visitbuckscounty.com/ale trail to get your passport. And by the Conshohocken Brewing Company, now with 5 locations.